massive edition of the RDFNL Footy Show, looking back on the Interleague weekend. My name's Andy, I'm joined by Tara Murray from the start weekly. Well, the RDFNL is up and about thanks to On-Time Delivery Solutions. We had 4 wins from as many games across football and netball, but the football is what we're pumped up about. And the senior boys had a really good win.
It is, besides last year when they had a really good win, they've had a lot of close matches whether they've lost or win the last few years, and this one didn't disappoint in the end with our boys getting up by 3 points in the end.
Yeah, exactly. They were 15 points up with only a handful of minutes to go. Then they gave conceded a few late goals, and we had a nice tight finish there. But we had one superstar who was easily the best player on the day. It was Todd Podolzak from Rupo, kicking a lazy 6 goals and getting the boys over the line. And he had a really good week as well because congratulations to the great man. He is a first-time homeowner. So he goes into that with a best-on-ground performance. A lazy 6 goals does not get better for the great man.
It does, and I think you mentioned last week you were concerned about the lack of key forwards in the RDFL side, and I even spoke to Skip after the match, and he said the same thing. They were concerned. In the end, they just had one in Todd, and in the end, they isolated him in that forward 50, and it paid off. That kicked 6 out of 9 goals, so quite easily the best on ground for the RDFL.
It's good to see the Rupo boys step up on the day as well, because we had a few key contributors there from that club in the win.
It is. You had your experience guys. Obviously, Brent Swallow was another one. You had Brett Chambers, who was co-captain, who is always, whether he's forward or back, I think he started back and then got moved forward, always has a good contribution. And I think there was 6 or 7 boys in the end from Rupertswood that ended up playing in that side. So it was good to see them make themselves available.
Absolutely fantastic there. We're great to see some fantastic work there from Aidan Tazari, who was working well across half-back, and Timmy Walsh had a pretty good day in the office as well in defence. He was rarely beaten in those contests. So there was some really good promising performances there from the locals, but I guess Central Highlands, they really took the game up to our boys.
It is, and I think it's the 3rd year in a row Central Highlands have lost by under a goal, so
yeah.
They're probably one of the most unlucky sides in the community championships. I think I saw Goulburn Valley and Ballarat Football League, and Goulburn Valley was another one who'd had a couple of close losses. They obviously did get the win on the weekend, but Central Highlands must be disappointed to let another one slip.
Yeah, well, exactly. They could have been pushing deeper into the teens, but unfortunately for them, it's not to be. And at the end of the day, the RDFNL currently moved to 22nd on the AFL Victoria Community Championships rankings, which is pretty positive. I know there was speculation or a bit of discussion happened during the week of at RDFNL sort of a better side than that, but as we have discussed, that you've got to start somewhere, you've got to start from the bottom, you have to work your way up. So if not for a couple of losses to our bogey team in Alberton, things could have been a little bit different, much like the landscape for Central Highlands.
It is, and obviously we saw the RDFL knock off a much higher opponent a couple of years ago.
Who are no longer around in the championships anymore.
Exactly, so it was a mixed sort of run. They would have been disappointed not to rise up a little bit more due to that match, but they're starting to get there. They were, I think, late 20s, early 30s. Now they're down to 22, so they're definitely rising up the ranks.
Exactly, and while our senior footballers enjoyed a really good win, our under-18 footballers had just an impressive win in very tight circumstances, getting over the line by about 3 or 4 goals, but that was in extra time, and the ball was heading down into the RDFNL forward line with only seconds to go, and accidentally the Central Highlands player rushed it through for a point, forced scores to be levelled, forced extra time where our guys come out and won quite convincingly. I think we kicked about 3 or 4 goals in the extra time period to win that one.
It is, and obviously an extra time, that makes it a lot of the thrilling result down there, and it adds a little bit to it. So we had a lot of close results on the day, and that was probably the game of the day up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Right across the championships, I don't think we had any closer games in comparison to right across all the other 16 games that were going along. But that's a really good insight. How do you sort of feel that the playing group sort of, from your perception, sort of received the Interleague experience this year?
Look, obviously, I think from hearing from clubs, there was a lot of players unavailable,
yep,
who obviously a lot take the opportunity to have a week off. They get away with their families and that. So that's probably the one thing that they struggled with, that a lot of players weren't available. So you look at the side we've got, they had a good win in the end, but there's a lot of stronger players who weren't in the mix. So that's probably the thing that has to juggle, is trying to work out how do you get your top players playing in this competition. I think some competitions struggle with it. EDFL, I think, is one, and that's why part of the reason why they didn't have a side this year. Where you look at the Northern Football League, has managed to get the buy-in from the players, and then next year they're playing off of the number 1 rankings. So it's a hard mix. It's making sure, what do the players want out of this? How do you get them involved? And I think that's probably the key to it.
And probably getting some buy-in from the coaches as well. We know one coach, one assistant coach for the RDFNL senior footy side, while the win was very pleasing, I think he had a little bit more excitement in the days leading up to it. Dan Nolan becoming a dad again, just hours before the game started. So a big congratulations to him and the family there. But it's important though for the system to try and get as many of these senior coaches involved to try and I guess show some expertise in the game.
Well, yeah, obviously Jamie Lobb was another one who was involved as well. So you've got and you mentioned Dan Nolan. So you've got a few of the senior coaches getting involved. It's about getting the players involved as well.
Yep. Certainly shaping up to be an exciting campaign going forward, and hopefully the results that we've had will inspire more players to hopefully make themselves available, and those that have played in the game enjoyed the experience. That's what it's all about. Nothing's better than playing with opponents you really want to be playing, hopefully come finals anyway, and you might just get that little bit of intel to get the edge over them.
It is, and it's always playing against the best players from other comps makes you a better player as well. You learn new things, learn off new coaches as well, who might give you a tip or two to help out in the future.
Exactly. Well, thanks to On Time Delivery Solutions. This has been the RDFNL Senior Football Interleague Review. Tara, thanks so much for joining us. Look forward to catching up with you later on in the week as we talk up the next round in RDFNL football.
Thanks for having me. You didn't have any success doing that.